Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so this is take two. If you were one of the few people who jumped on for that first one, I'm sorry. I just could not get my words straight, or I was struggling to get my words out there for some reason. Okay, so just like normal, what I'm going to do here is start off with a few questions that I've taken before, just to kind of like not be sitting here staring at the camera and hopefully give some valuable information. And then if you have some questions, feel free to just comment whatever questions you have, and I will answer them. All right, so the first one, this is pretty common, cardio or strength first. So I will say, first of all, this depends on your goals. So if you are a person who is training for a marathon or, whatever the case may be, you might want to prioritize cardio. Outside of that, whether your goals are weight or body fat loss, or especially if it's, strength is a big part of that, and or muscle gain, you definitely want to prioritize the strength first, because think about it, whatever you go into first, you're going to have the most energy. So if you go for, a 2-mile run or jog or treadmill or whatever cardio session you're doing first, you're going to sap some of the energy from the lifting. So I would, like I said, unless your main goals are endurance based, I would recommend doing any cardio that you're doing at the end of your strength sessions. That's the best in my opinion, just because you can kind of do it all at once there. Like you go to the gym, do your strength sessions, and then like you tack your cardio on at the end of it, and you're done. Additionally, like if it's not hindering your recovery, you could also do the cardio on a different day entirely. So if you want to do that, cool, but I would not prioritize or put first your cardio before the strength training for those reasons. The second one, and I make jokes about this, like people saying, "Oh, squats are bad for your knees," or like, you'll hear the same thing about like lunges. Pretty much anything that is a weighted movement that causes that involves like the knee joint being bent while you have a loaded movement, some kind of weight other than your body weight. And the answer is like, I want to answer it seriously, even though I kind of joke around about it, because people really do think this. People really do think like squats are bad for your knees, and honestly, that's probably the furthest thing from the truth. What is happening a lot of the times when people have like knee issues, I'm not talking about, like there are people who have like legitimate like knee issues, maybe the cartilage isn't there fully developed, or they have some real joint problems, things like that. But if somebody just has like some knee pain or whatever, typically what you'll find is like when they start squatting and strengthening everything around those joints, that knee pain is going to dissipate or go away entirely. So because they're strengthening it. So squats are actually really good for your knees. Now, the only time squats are bad for your knees are if you are going up in weight way too quickly, that you have not, nothing in there is strong enough to handle yet, and or you have bad form. So if you're doing that, of course, like anything that you do with really bad form is going to be bad for you. So you want to, at the very, ideally you'd be able to get a coach, but at the very least watch some videos on YouTube or whatever. And then outside of like kind of, if you don't have a coach or somebody to give you some kind of guidance on how to do the movement, watch some videos. Feel free to message me, and I'll send you some videos, some good ones to watch. Try to emulate those, and then join a Facebook group or something where people will give you feedback on your form, and so I'm happy to do one here and there. If you just want to message me a video, I'm happy to kind of give you feedback on that. I just want you to be able to get good form, because squats are good for your knees. They're not bad for your knees, but you do need good form, and you don't want to move up on weight too quickly. Again, what's up, everybody? If anybody has any questions while I answer these other ones, just comment them, and I will answer here. And then the third one and the last one that I will answer before I move on to any that have popped up in the comments, is what are the best ab workouts? So this is a pretty common one. Everybody cares. Not everybody, but the majority of people seem to really care about their abs. I mean, I do. Everybody wants, you want your midsection. Like if you're working out, of course, like that's something you care about. My personal favorite ab workout. So like, first of all, let me get this out of the way. Some people say that if you are doing heavy squats, heavy overhead presses, things like that, where you're really having to stabilize your abdominal muscles, that's enough ab work. If all you care about, if the only reason you care about the abs is because of stabilization for those lifts, yeah, that's enough ab work. But if you are going for like aesthetics, you want like defined, built-out abs when you get down to a body fat percentage or whatever that you can see them, or if you're already like at a low body fat percentage but don't have a lot of abs and you want to see them, if aesthetics is something you care about at all, just how they look, then typically the overhead press and the squat are not enough. Unless you're just a really genetically lucky person, it's not enough, and you do need to do some additional ab training. So for that, my favorite exercises, I enjoy a cable crunch, which is where you use a cable setup. If you don't have cables, just ignore this one. But a cable setup where you are your knees are on the ground and you've got the cables behind your head, and you are bending down to where you touch your elbows to your thighs. That is basically the inverse of a sit-up, and it's weighted. So doing those are awesome, in like the 10 or more rep range. I like to failure. I like air bicycles, hanging leg raises or knee raises if you can't do the leg raises yet, or the toe to bar is kind of the extreme version where you're literally bringing your legs up to touch the bar you're hanging from. So those are good. The ab wheel, it's a gimmicky looking thing, but it's actually a pretty good ab exercise. Planks are good for stability. Trying to think. I like these things called cable wood choppers. Also, like cable. This is for the obliques. It's where you're reaching up, grabbing it, and pulling down. Those are really good. Trying to think of what ab workouts I'm leaving out here. I'm intentionally leaving out sit-ups and crunches because I hate them, and I don't think they do nearly as much as what some of these other ones do. But basically, you care more. You care about, Steve, toe to bar is awesome. Mom, I love you too. I see you up there. So what you do is if you the abdominis rectus here in the middle, that's kind of like the main, what people think of as the abs, but you also have like the external obliques that come down from the sides, and that's when you kind of see that definition coming from the sides. And anything like the bicycle crunches, the cable wood choppers, if you're doing leg raises, it's taking the legs out to the sides instead of just out in the front. All of those, anything that you can do like that is going to train the obliques. And then the leg raises in particular really seem to hit the kind of the bottom of the abs where it kind of comes down to the V point there. So if you could incorporate, like I like to do, three exercises, and I'll try to like target each of those. So I'll do like cable crunches, ab bicycles, and toe to bar, something like that. So that's kind of how I like to structure my ab training, and I like to do it at the end or separately. So if I'm sitting here, working, I might do some ab stuff before I even get into like a heavy session later. So anyway, does anybody have any other questions before I end this? All right. If you see this later and you have some questions, or a question, just comment it. And although I won't answer live, I will answer in the comments. All right, getting some weird stuff going on with my voice there. Good time to wrap it up. Happy Wednesday.